let's get inspired by yet another entrepreneur. Yes, our next speaker is Mr. Madan Padaki, president of TiE Bangalore, the world's largest entrepreneurial organization, and founder and CEO of OneBridge. Ladies and gentlemen, his unwavering dedication to advancing a rural entrepreneurship through OneBridge has earned recognition. Okay, you have to hear this. Okay, has earned recognition from our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, spotlighting his accomplishments during his address on Man Ki Baat. Yes. As a visionary leader, he has been instrumental in driving TiE Bangalore's mission to foster innovation, nurture startups, and empower budding entrepreneurs. So put your hands together. Let's welcome Mr. Madan Padaki on stage. A very, very warm welcome to you, sir. We're so honored to have you here. You need to clap until we have the speaker on stage. Come on, everyone.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. Okay, that part of the roof seems to be shaking, not here. Let's try it again. Good morning, everybody. Super. That is the energy dose that I required. Thank you so much. That made up for 2 shots of caffeine this morning. Delighted to be here. Welcome to Bangalore for those of you who are coming from out of our city. Wishing you a lovely stay in Bangalore and a phenomenal experience for the rest of you. Soak in this lovely environment that we have here over the next couple of days. So a huge round of applause to all of you for making it to this space. I think that itself, they say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I think you've taken more than those single steps to be here. I still remember last year when Amit, Murali and I were talking about FUL. And what just started out as a seed of an idea, it is phenomenal to see this culminating. I wouldn't even say culminating in being here today. I think this is just the beginning of a journey. So again, from all of our side, a huge amount of gratitude and a shout out to the Get Set Learn team for having kind of pursued this difficult path. I know we've had through several roller coaster moments to get here, and I'm glad to be here. And this is truly what TiE aspires, TiE globally aspires to do, is to see the spark of entrepreneurship being that gleam in your eyes, is to say, yeah, I can do something as well. When I reflect back on the years, I was just reflecting on when I was 15, I definitely had more hair than what I have today. But there was nothing of a platform. You know, I got my first brush with entrepreneurship. My dad used to run a small travel agency in Bangalore. And on those days when he had to go out for some meetings or whatever, he used to call me and say, hey, come sit in the office. So I used to man the phone. And if you remember, I'm sure none of you will remember because you never were there, but those days there was only a landline. Customers used to call. We ran the old version of Ola. You had a bunch of drivers standing outside. Customers called and said, I need to go to airport or railway station or whatever. We used to somehow find the driver loitering around the car, tell him, go to this place. Maps didn't exist. So he used to then call us back from some payphone saying, I'm not finding the address. The customer used to call me back saying, I'm not finding the driver. Now, how do you match them? Right? And somehow you kept your fingers crossed and prayed to God that the driver and the customer found each other so that they could land up at the train or the airport on time. But that experience for a couple of years was my learning ground, right? I learned how to deal with irate customers, irritable drivers who said, yeah, I'll be there at this customer's house at 6 p.m., never showed up till 7:30, right? How do you deal with all of that was my learning ground. And when I reflect back on that journey, I owe a lot to that learning rather than anything else as I embarked on my entrepreneurial journey almost immediately out of college. So from a TiE's angle, you know, we named it as Future Unicorns Launchpad, and Priyavrat really talked about what a unicorn is. I think from a larger TiE and the larger country's perspective, I would add a couple more definitions to that, right? One, all of us sitting here are truly the creme de la creme of the top, maybe you're on the top 0.1% or even lesser of the youth of our country, right? Just take a wild guess. How many young people like you will India add in the next 10 to 15 years as they enter into the workforce? You know that we are a land of 1.4 billion people. We are the youngest country. But just take a wild guess. How many such youngsters like you will enter the job market or enter the labor market trying to look for a job in the next 15, 20 years? Just a wild guess. 5 million, 10 million? There you go. It doesn't matter the number. He says, I'll inspire them anyway. Fantastic, right? So you made my job easier. We have 150 to 200 million youngsters entering the workforce in the next 15 to 20 years. All of them look for jobs, right? It is known that the large companies can only create so much of jobs. Infosys today is 350, 400,000 people, right? And I began my career at Infosys. So when you look at 300, 400,000 and 150 million people, you can't imagine that there'll be one or two Infosys that will be creating those jobs. There'll be hundreds and thousands of Infosys equivalent or a Wipro equivalent or whatever that will be creating jobs. So the way I look at this is I see more than entrepreneurs, job creators sitting in this room, right? I want each and every one of you to go out and create 100,000 jobs. And as you create those 100,000 jobs, obviously your company should be growing, will be growing, but 100,000 people will remember each of you to saying, yeah, I worked in her company. I worked in these 4 founders created jobs for me. Like how I still fondly remember Wipro and Infosys for having given me my first break, right? Secondly, for a land of 1.4 billion people, the beauty and the challenge in India is you name a problem, we have it here. Healthcare, education, agriculture, financial services, emerging areas like space, defense. So the beauty is that there are enough and more problems to be solved, right? So my second definition of a unicorn is just not $1 billion in valuation, but 1 billion smiles that you can create, right? So how can you go out there and touch 1 billion lives? How can you go out there and say, you know what, I made a difference to this person because of my solution in any of the spaces that you chose to be, right? So job creation, making 1 billion smiles out there and impacting real lives out in our country and in the world. And of course, if you do that, valuation is a given, right? You don't even have to worry about it. It will happen. So for me, the Future Unicorns Launchpad is all about enabling you to set your dreams today and tomorrow. I'm very sure that the ideas that you worked on today may not be the ideas that you will pursue. Maybe there'll be 100 other ideas that you'll pursue. So today it is more about having you dream and equip yourself with the skills to be an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneurial journey is of many ideas, right? And I'm sure you will evolve, but if you can keep your thoughts on saying, listen, whatever I need to do, I need to enable young people and my compatriots to get jobs, to generate incomes. And secondly, I need to impact 1 billion people and make sure that I put a smile on their faces, right? If those two are set, the world is yours. So my wish really over the next couple of days, and that is the TiE's mission of fostering entrepreneurship itself, that I really wish that 10 years later, 15 years later, we'll have not one of you, all of you on stage like Kshitij to say, this is how I built my startup, right? This is how I did it. And we want to bask in that glory. To say, you know what, we have played a small part in making your dreams come alive. And our commitment from TiE is that wherever you are, whatever ideas you're working on, you can always rely not just on TiE Bangalore, But on the TiE Globals network, we are present in 14 countries, 57 chapters. You can rely on TiE's network to help you in that journey in whatever form or fashion. And that's a commitment that I can make very, very positively from here to say we will be there for you. Whatever help you need, whatever support, in whatever role we can play in your entrepreneurial journey, we will be there, right? So with that, the other part I want to leave you with is that it is, as I said, a very, very small percentage of you who have been fortunate to experience this, right? My other request to each of you is as you go back to your schools, communities, figure out a way of paying it forward. It's all about passing on this message and the positivity. So if you can figure out a way of paying it forward, it could be, speaking to, do you think the small chai shop fellow who's out there, is he an entrepreneur? He is, right? The lady who sells vegetables out there, is she an entrepreneur? Is there any which way that you can start helping entrepreneurs like them, right? Can you go out there and help the chai fellow to say, hey, you know what? I have a couple of suggestions to help you sell more chai, right? Can you go tell the vegetable vendor that, hey, I have some ideas for you where you can make your vegetables last longer or maybe manage your cash flows better? So, or even at the least, can you put a hand on the shoulder and say, you know what, I respect you as an entrepreneur. And I love what you're doing. Believe me, that makes a huge difference in their lives. So my other request, given that you've been here, the lucky ones to experience this, starting right now, figure out a way of paying it forward by some thought or some love that you can shower on your fellow entrepreneurs as you go out there, because what we need is more of that positivity everywhere in the world, right? So with that, I wish all of you the very best on your journeys. I really wish that 10 years hence, each and every one of you, we will have your names enshrined as entrepreneurs, as job creators, as the Billion Smiles Unicorn founders. And again, reiterating that we'll be there with you on this journey. Thank you so much.